Hello, Owl Nation. Welcome to the Owl or Nothing podcast here at Southern Connecticut State University.
Welcome.
Episode 2. Episode 2, or Friday, September 25th. Like we said on the last podcast, every Tuesday and Friday. I know this week was a little different with the first podcast, but every Tuesday and Friday we'll be putting out a new podcast with new guests, coaches, athletes, alums, fans, basically, having a great time, getting to know people. Big news today coming up. We'll get into that in a moment. But Christopher Lynn, Assistant Director of Athletics, Head of Equipment, alongside with
Jay Turiano, Assistant Facilities Coordinator.
And this is the big news.
What's the big news?
We were able to get the producer a headset. So we have Ken Sweeten on with us.
Welcome aboard, Ken Sweeten, the producer.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Great. It's great to hear your voice. I mean, I'm sure Owl Nation is excited to hear you.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. This whole project has been pretty exciting for me. It's been something we've been working on for the last month or two, and I'm excited to get it going. Good feedback on the first episode, by the way, with Jay Moran. You guys did a nice job the first time out.
Thank you. I think we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Great response in the rapid list fire with Moran, but
yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it's going to be a rapid fire, just maybe more of a getting to know you segment. We'll see how it goes today.
I think we'll see how it goes today. So it'll be interesting to see how everything plays out. You know? Did you watch any of you guys watch the basketball game last night? Laker game?
I did not.
No Laker game for anybody?
I did not. I watched the New York Yankees, another tough game up in Buffalo, and I watched the NFL game.
Oh, the NFL. I forgot. I didn't even realize that game.
Did the Lakers win? Didn't even check.
The Lakers did win. Jamal Murray went bonkers until the end of the game when LeBron covered him and was the defensive stopper on Jamal Murray. It was.
So what's the series at?
It's 3-1. We got the Miami Heat, Celtics at 3-1. We got the Lakers and the Nuggets at 3-1. It'll be should be pretty good. I'm excited for when we can have basketball back here at Southern Connecticut. Or any sport, football, field hockey, swim. I mean, I'm just excited to get sports back in general.
To be honest with you, short term, what I'm excited for is my San Francisco 49ers to stomp all over Cubbies, New York Giants.
Jeez.
New York football Giants on Sunday.
I think it's the upset of the week. I think the 49ers are banged
I agree.
up.
You're going to be very upset by the end of this week.
That could be the case, but the Niners are banged up right now. I think they're just trying to get out of Jersey, back onto the West Coast, healthy.
Yeah, they don't want anything to do with that turf over there, man. I don't know what you guys got cooking over there.
It's brand new turf. It's brand new turf.
Ken, I don't know if you can't argue with the facilities guy.
It's
about
brand
turf.
new
This
turf.
guy knows,
That's true.
This guy knows his stuff.
That's true.
Oh, did you hear? There was a knock at the door.
I think our guest here today.
Our guest of the day has arrived.
We're gonna welcome.
We're gonna get her set up here with a headset, and she's gonna be good to go. So today we have with us head field hockey coach and our senior women's administrator, Kelley Frassinelli. So welcome, Kelley. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Wow, we're glad to have you.
Thanks for coming on. How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
This is going to be good. We're just going to ask you a bunch of questions about your time here at Southern.
Before we start, let's give Kelley a little credit because she's supposed to be splitting the interview today, and unfortunately, Marche Greenlee couldn't be here.
Correct.
The two of them were supposed to be on board. Marche Greenlee, who's been spearheading our Athletes Fighting Injustice group and has started the anti-racism discussion within athletics. Unfortunately, isn't here today. She had to cancel the last second, so Kelley is flying solo. So
thank you.
Welcome.
So we're just going to throw some questions out at you just about your time at Southern, questions about what it's like to be a coach during this crazy time with COVID and the coronavirus, and we're going to definitely touch upon the racial injustice stuff and the Athletes Fighting Injustice group. That's going to be a big thing we're going to talk about today too. So we're excited to talk to you. I'm sure all of our listeners are excited to learn more about you and hear what everybody has to say.
Well, they're going to hear it anyway, right?
Yeah, Kel. So, I just want to know, what made you want to be a part of, Owls Fighting for Injustice and, Athletes Fighting Injustice. And, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
I think it's something that the university for a long time, I don't think that we've ever really kind of addressed any kind of injustice in that sense. I know that, as an athlete, you're involved with a huge diversity of students that you compete with, that you coach, and you don't really know what they're going through. You don't really know these injustices that are happening in their lives, and then to kind of have that be brought more to the forefront, which Marche was great, reaching out and asking, what can we do? And then you have more insight, and you're hearing all these stories, and then you realize you're really not doing enough. You're not doing anything remotely close to what needs to be done to create this equity. So I think for me, and even for my student athletes, it's something for a long time in coming that we've needed to just really address and show support for and lead the way in with our athletes.
Kelley, you were involved in the conversation with Marche first, and then I was looped in afterwards early in the summer. And for me, it's been very educational. I come from a diverse area. I worked in Southern Connecticut years ago. My high school was very diverse, and I thought I knew enough. And I've learned that I didn't. And for me, that it was good to learn more and listen and hear the message. But at the same time, once we got rolling with the students, you heard a lot of them saying the same type of thing. It was very comforting to me to at least see that we were doing something to provide for the students who were in a similar situation that we were, trying to learn more.
Absolutely, and I think on both ends, learning from the student athletes that are dealing with a lot of the crises that are going on and hearing what they have to say and realizing that we're not doing really anything. When we say we're not doing enough, but what are we doing? They talk about, we hear in the sense of what we post something on our websites. That's not enough. That's not action. So I think, and certainly my conversations with Marche and learning from her perspective, what we should be doing, what we need to be doing, and just not even just from the student athletes, but it's from the faculty, it's the coaches, it's hearing what their stories are, and we don't even know that. We work with them each day, and I don't know these stories, and so I want to make sure that we're doing justice, to help create a better environment for each other, and working even with our White Ally group on campus that was started and trying to better myself and better our student athletes and our staff.
Yeah, that group is pretty interesting, the White Ally group. Me and Cubby were in the same sessions for that group, and it was interesting to sort of, like you said, get everybody's take on it and how everybody has different opinions. And touching on what Ken said, you think you have a concept of it, you think you think you sort of know everything, and then all of a sudden you expand because you hear all these different stories from all these people, and you hear different groups and different things. I found it to be awesome. I thought it was that was a fantastic thing that we were provided with. That was great.
Yeah, it's great to hear everybody's stories. Me personally, growing up in Shelton, it's not very diverse, and when I came to college here, you really see that there's a lot more in the world, and I learned a lot at Southern. You learn a lot about different cultures, and it was great. I learned a lot being here in New Haven at Southern, living on campus.
We started talking about this anti-racism conversation. We were trying to come up with that forum, and the first name that was mentioned was Jim Barber, who's an institution within this institution, and you competed for him. You ran for him as a student athlete. How influential has he been for you in really getting you to this point involved with the anti-racism discussion?
So it's interesting. So I've always, and he knows this, that he's my second dad. Like growing up, I had a relationship in a sense. My family, with his family, my dad ran here, so I've known Mr. Barber for a long time. I haven't known his story for a long time. I've heard situations that happened in college. I've heard of things that he had to deal with, but for me, he was this guy that you had so much respect for, and running for him and learning from him, but he never brought in that perspective of, you can't do something or just because of your color, or he always made everybody feel welcome, and you just worked hard for him. But then to hear the stories and what he talks about, and, it breaks my heart because here I wasn't doing enough, even as a student athlete, realizing what his story was. And I just think that, again, he was somebody that I looked at as he's bigger than life, and he still is. And he's just a role model for every student athlete that walks through these doors, and every student on campus. So, my history for, relationship-wise with Mr. B goes back a long time, but again, my understanding of the history that he's had to deal with also, or he's been through, I haven't also been privileged to know all of that and to understand all of that either. So it's kind of a dynamic for me to realize that, you're someone you're close to, but you're not close in that sense,
Right. So Ken said something interesting, and so did you. That I think of pretty much most of our coaches here. They've competed collegiately, but you were fortunate enough to compete here, where you're the head coach. What was that like? What was it like being a student athlete here at Southern Connecticut? And kind of give us a little story about what it was, how you got here as a student, and
Sure.
what you did.
And I got here as a student pretty much because of my dad. My dad went here, my uncle went here, my brother. I mean,
See, I never knew that. This is the first time I'm ever hearing that. I had no clue.
You're a Southern legacy.
I have a long history
Awesome.
here. Yeah, my dad worked in the student center. We used to go to the student center when we were kids all the time. Make funny faces in the printers, or in the copiers, that sort of thing. So I've been around campus for a long time. Obviously we moved. I was born in New Haven, moved to New Hampshire, spent majority of my life there, but this is where I came back. And again, the relationships with the coaches was, brought here to run track and field. I played field hockey while I was here. But again, as an athlete, it's two very different dynamics. Field hockey world is one way, you see how the athletes are and just the group of who those people were. And then you have track and field is very different. You're long distance runners and, we talk about who you kind of, congregate with. So I was fortunate enough to have the team sport aspect, but also the individual sport aspect, kind of growing up. But it was very different. You came in and you didn't have new student orientation. You didn't know where things were. You just, you came in and you figured it out and you went to class. And, I think the athletes, we talk about it a lot, we're very close, we're very tight, and you didn't just associate with your own team. You kind of had that connection with every other team that was on campus. So.
And at what point during that time here did you realize that you wanted to be a coach?
I don't know that I ever really did until I was assistant coaching one year, and then the second year that coach didn't return. And again, I'll segue this back to Mr. Barber. He was my lifeline. I learned a lot of everything from him. Most everything from him. What do I do when I drive the van? How do I figure this out? How do I maneuver that? Who do I go to for this? He was my third hand in a sense, to be able to help navigate what I needed to do. So when that came about, when the coach couldn't come back, I was asked if I would take that role. And of course, part-time, you're working full-time and then running before 6 a.m. to do doubles during preseason and then go to work and then come back in the afternoon and, run the next session, and 6 years of that. And then I actually stepped away for 2 years because it just needed more. It needed more in that position. And then it opened up full-time with lacrosse at one point. So
that's awesome.
So did Coach Barber recruited you to run track? Who recruited you for field hockey?
So the coach here, field hockey is another dynamic and interesting piece. Mostly at that point, there was one coach here who was recruiting me to come play, and then that coaching position changed.
Okay.
And I really wanted to play Division II hockey because I wanted to run track. Having the opportunity to be recruited at Division I and to play at Division I was not something that I wanted the pressure of. I didn't want to take that route, and being here with someone who I knew track and field wise was going to want to help me be a better track and field athlete, despite being able to play at a different level of field hockey. But the coaching changed. I probably had 2, at the point, maybe 3 coaches when I was here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember when I was working here as a UA 18, 19 years ago, I walked out to the field, and it was about 2 minutes before the first lacrosse game that we ever had here. And I grabbed Kelley and I said, "Hey, now's probably a good a time as any to tell you that I've never statted women's lacrosse before." And she went, "That's fine. I've never coached women's lacrosse before."
Right.
So it was a learning experience for both.
And to be honest with you, I was really nervous. I was losing it a little bit, and so I just tried to break the ice there. And so it was kind of it was very comforting to hear that. And I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to feel bad if I screw this up then.
As long as these kids can get out there and, have a good experience.
So I've learned a lot today. I mean, I've been here, I said, for quite a time. We've worked together for a long time. I've learned a ton. And, I didn't know you ran track. What events did you do? What was your...
So I ran anywhere from the 100-meter hurdles to the 800.
Wow.
So, yeah, we did... it's probably still up there. I don't know. 3 of my former teammates, Chanel Batten, Tamiko Brown, and why am I blanking on my third teammate here, had the shuttle hurdle relay time. So, yeah,
that's
claim
awesome.
to fame.
I had no idea. Like I said, I had no idea.
Yep. Mostly the hurdles. Did 100-meter hurdles, high jump, and then heptathlon. So that was kind of where I segued into
Well, that's awesome.
So we should note that she would be enshrined in the Hall of Fame already.
Well, you're stealing my thunder.
Yeah, congrats, Cal.
I was going to bring that
I know
up.
you
Okay.
don't. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
an honor.
you. Thanks.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I know this whole coronavirus thing has sort of screwed up some of our plans and our Hall of Fame dinners that we were supposed to have and things like that. So that kind of stinks. But like I said, Ken just stole my thunder. I was going to talk about that, but I guess we can keep that theme going with the whole as we're sitting here with masks on and stuff. With what's it like coaching right now in this environment? What are the challenges recruiting athletes? What are the challenges? This is a crazy time for athletics. You know, it's a crazy time in the world, but especially athletics with us. And you know, how are you navigating that? What are some challenges? What maybe things are easier? I don't know. Just what's that like?
There's so much more to it.
Right.
It's so funny. Like we talk about preseason and how much work you put into getting ready for it. I welcome that. Like it's the planning right now, and I just sent you the schedule for next week. You know, we are not going every day in the sense of we're every other day with being on ground or virtual, just because of where we can be in the office. And so when we're virtual days, my athletes stay home, like in the dorms, whatever. We do yoga, we do stuff outside that's, you know, planning or mental health or something along those lines. Because, again, I don't want them to have to come to campus if they don't have to. This is just, you know, my perception of it. So 3 days a week we might be on ground with practice, and I'm linking in the kids who are actually at home because I have about 4 kids who stayed home doing all online. So we bring the computer outside, we put them on, you know, link them in with the team practice, so they're doing it at home by themselves, but we're watching and trying to do it on ground at the same time. So it's been creative, let's call it that.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. Those are things you don't even think about. That those are the kind of things that are happening with, you know, trying to do things virtually at the same time when you're doing things on ground. I think that's amazing, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
How are the athletes enjoying it? How's the team morale?
They're good. You know, I think the diversity in what we're doing is helping. It's actually fun for us. You know, it's different planning and things come up, and it makes you realize you don't have to stick to like the hardcore plan. And if we don't do this, then the world's not going to end, and it's going to be okay. And in my mind, I always keep going back to, you know, we don't have a championship we're playing for the fall.
Right.
We're not. I don't need to push them so hard that we have injuries or we have kids who want to quit because it's, you know, right now this whole experience is so new for them too that we need to make sure that we help them in all aspects. It's not just being on that field, but it's just being together and helping each other kind of through whatever's going on.
And I was having a conversation, I don't remember with who, but somebody within the department the other day, and we were talking about how our coaches are, I mean, you guys are amazing as it is, but seriously, our coaches are the biggest advocate and one of the best tools and resources to get kids on campus during a normal time.
Oh, yeah.
And how important our coaching staff is in recruiting kids to come to campus. Is this whole thing must be challenging to get kids to, like, this whole recruiting process right now must be tough with that. I can only imagine what it's like. I mean, just talking to some other coaches, you're doing virtual tours. I was talking to CJ Moran, the student coach, he's walking through with his on FaceTime, showing the building to people, like,
getting creative.
The crazy thing is, it's still okay. Like the recruits are still receptive to it. They're still excited about it, and I think that's it's awesome. Are you finding challenges with that? Is it something like, it seems like you're doing sort of the same thing as CJ with the virtual stuff?
Yeah, I saw him walk by the office the other day. It was kind of funny. I was like,
right.
So, yeah, the thought is, you know, obviously recruiting is hard because we also had kind of a freeze on recruiting in a sense. You know, we're not allowed to go out, and then what the state guideline says, can we go out of state? You know, and we get a lot of kids from the Massachusetts area for the most part. But, yeah, you know, we've even talked about doing a virtual tour, introduce all the players, you know, videotape that, have them saying hello, just having them show them around campus, here's our room, like, to be able to give them an unofficial visit before they even come to say, do I want to come and have an unofficial visit?
That's an awesome idea.
Yeah.
So I need some little help with that.
It's coming.
That's an awesome idea.
I've already got the ball rolling there. That's coming. That's coming.
Yeah, so to personalize it a little bit, to be like, this is our team, and this is who you'd be interacting with. And, you know, here, let's go to lunch, and now we're at lunch, and this is what it looks like, whatever. You know, whatever those pieces might be. And then, you know, figuring out the unofficial visits and how we can do that and be safe and make sure that the kids are safe coming, because some of them just, you know, maybe they don't want to. But So, yeah, it's been a little harder, I think, for us, but we're trying to figure out new and interesting ways we can do that.
Yeah, you got to be as creative as you can, I guess. You know?
Yeah, that's been the name of the game since we were sent home in March. We're trying to find new creative ways to do some things.
Yeah.
Reinventing the day-to-day operations.
Yes.
So, Kel, is this your second or third year as SWA?
This is third.
Third year.
This
So
is
how
third year.
how have you liked that so far in your third year?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So I think, when our senior woman administrator had left, that was kind of the ask of, if being this senior woman in staff, if I would be able to take on that responsibility, which in the last few years I had been thinking about what more administrative, work would look like.
Right.
And so it's been great. I think it's certainly each year there's more things I'm learning and more things I'm taking on and being involved with. So in that respect, it's that juggling act. I used to coach 2 sports, right? And like, how the heck? And now it's kind of like you got 2 sports going on again, in a sense. But I have great support from my staff, with Ann and Sarah, helping with the field hockey side of it, and then just the administratively, there's a lot of interaction and communication that happens. So not just one person is involved in any one thing, so it helps.
Well, I was going to ask that question about, is it, you mentioned the prior senior women's administrator, that was, she obviously had another job here too, but she wasn't coaching a team. I mean, is that a challenge trying to juggle both jobs at the same time? And you sort of mentioned, I mean, you were coaching 2 sports at the same time, so is that a challenge?
I could control that. I could control when this meeting was, when this practice was. Sometimes I think it is, because there might be a meeting, let's just say it's not even through the conference, it's through, I work with Kathy Christie and VPOS and on that committee for SART. So it's, okay, they have meetings at 2:15 most of the time. And so can I go to that meeting and then go to practice, or do I, so it's that juggling act sometimes of when can I go, and now it's virtual, so it's a little bit easier. I can maybe even take it with me while I'm over at practice and watch it. But so I think it's just the planning piece of that, like how do I make everything fit? And sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just say, I'm sorry, I can't make this call today.
Yep.
And for me, a lot of people say to me, you guys aren't competing on campus. Why are you so busy? But because of all the meetings that we have.
Right.
Yeah.
How many committees are you actually involved with right now?
I don't know.
Too many.
I feel like every time I
Too
talk
many to
to you,
remember,
you have another committee call
Right.
that I've never heard of before. You're like, oh, I'm on this competition committee. And
Well, right. So the NE10 there's a couple committees that I work with, for the sport. There's a sport admin committee, and we talk about all the schedules and the planning and getting that all figured out. We had one version that was happening for the fall, and then when that got canceled, now we're working on this whole other planning for the spring. I sit with the athletic director on the athletics call. That's like once a week right now, and everything went virtual. You're kind of once a week with everything. And then I also have, I sit as the oversight, that sport oversight for women's lacrosse. So each team has an administrator on staff that oversees whatever that sport is. And then I've been helping out with swim because their sport oversight stepped off. And then there's stuff on campus. I'm involved with certain, groups on campus and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's the majority of it.
To go back to where Ken stole my thunder, I think this is a great example of...
Hold on. That was my goal coming on today, actually.
Well, you did. Congratulations.
At one point,
you won.
I just wanted to jump in somewhere and just wreak a little havoc.
You did it. But this just to me is a sort of a testament to you and your dad. I mean, you're going to be in our Hall of Fame, or you are in the Hall of Fame. You're going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I think it's amazing that everything you've done for the department, for field hockey, and all the things you do. And Ken mentioned, I mean, you're running around more than anybody, I feel like, just trying to get everything accomplished. And you have a ton on your plate. And I think, being like Ken said, I learned today about this. I mean, I guess I knew you were a student athlete. I just thought it was just in field hockey. I didn't know it was in track. So to learn about all this stuff today, I mean, it makes perfect sense to me why you're in the Hall of Fame. I think you're a perfect candidate, and we're glad you're doing it.
Oh,
and
thanks.
I guess
Penn relays, correct? You ran at the Penn relays?
Yep.
And I guess
That's
that's
awesome.
my thing is, did you ever think when you started your journey here that you'd be a Hall of Famer? Did you ever,
No,
was
it's
that ever a
not.
goal of yours? I mean, I don't think anybody's goal ever is to be like, I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame, but
I
was
didn't
that?
think I'd
Well, that's
coach.
my goal.
We can make it happen. No, I didn't even think I would be coaching. You know what I
Right.
mean? I think you go into it and it sometimes your direction is guided for you, and sometimes you choose it and maybe it's not for you. But I think for me, it just it all just happened on its own. And you either go with it and you embrace it, or you just kind of say, okay, this isn't what I want to do. And I think it's kind of segued its way. It's serpentined.
Well, I think it's awesome, and I think it's well deserved.
Thank
Seriously.
you.
So.
Thank you.
But I think it's time to get into the more fun,
Yeah, a little
jovial
rapid fire.
section, the
Oh my
rapid
gosh.
fire now.
You're on your own here, 'cause we can't
Yeah,
help
so-
you.
Yeah, I mean,
So we did a segment for the first episode. We called it rapid fire, and it wasn't really rapid fire. So we're gonna try it out again. We'll see if it's more of a rapid fire, if it's just getting to know someone.
I will tell
Well-
you that I always have to think about them before I say
That's
them,
okay.
so nothing will ever come
That's
right
okay.
out.
That's
I
fine.
think what
We
JT
can-
wants is first thing that comes in your head.
Okay.
Yeah, but we could also have a discussion about it. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
and just know that it's supposed to be rapid fire. It's supposed to be quick, but no matter what you do, your answers could never be as long-winded as our first guest, no matter what. So you're going to be,
can
you'll
imagine.
automatically be quicker anyway.
Coincidentally, everybody knows that the second episode is the most important episode of the podcast. Like the first one, you're just trying to get people
Right.
around there, but now we actually have a following. Like overnight, we have about
Right.
150 people.
Yeah, thank you to all of our listeners, by
No
the way.
pressure.
So
Yeah.
there is definitely a possibility that 150 more, at least 150 more people will be listening to yours than
Right.
than
Hopefully
Right.
you still have a following after this.
No,
one,
we
too.
will definitely.
We will. We will.
see.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay.
Kel, what's your favorite movie?
You know, it's funny, Waterworld. You're going to laugh.
Waterworld.
Waterworld.
Is that funny?
Holy cow.
When people
I
go
gotta-
back,
I gotta
shouldn't
write
say
that
it's
one down.
Not even so much favorite, but if you say like, what would you want to watch? Because it's just so abstract. It's
You don't-
just
What
You've
year
never-
is
you've
that?
never seen it? Kevin Costner's
Kevin
in what?
Costner.
Yeah.
Is that like a 90s film or 80s? I'm not.
90s maybe.
90s?
90s.
I'm shocked, to be honest
It's
with you.
not
You
a-
know what? I don't think there's a wrong answer to that question, but that might be the wrong answer to that question.
No way. No way.
I'm gonna look at it. All right.
No way. And I'm
gonna look it
not
up.
necessarily a favorite, like, but when you say when you go watch
Like, what do you want to
something,
watch?
Go watch it. It's
All right.
it's weird. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's that whole. Anyway,
That's awesome.
I like
always
it.
talk about
And
Waterworld.
that was the first one that came to our head. That's what we said to say,
Oh,
and there we
thank
go.
you.
That's
So,
right.
I like that.
Favorite music artist?
Music. Well, I got a few. I would say I used to like
That's
Rascal
all right.
Flats. I'd
Okay.
say.
Little country.
Yep.
I love country.
I also like a lot of like old like Frank Sinatra. You
Oh,
know.
me too.
There's a variety. I can't say I listen to one specific thing.
There's nothing like cooking a nice dinner, listening to some Frankie.
I could
Yeah,
put a
I got a
shameless
lot.
plug in for my dad right now is what I should be doing. But
Got
I
a lot of
won't
stuff.
as a Dean Martin impersonator.
If he wants to
That's what I
sponsor,
grew up
if he
with.
wants to sponsor the podcast,
I grew up with Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. That's all we were allowed to listen to in my house. I love it. I love it.
Kel, what was the favorite team you've coached?
Favorite team?
Your
Like
favorite that you've coached? Yep.
You-
It's a tough question.
So you mean just because of
It could be anything.
this
Success.
can't be a quick one.
That's all right.
Nope. I think
I guess when you got to the end of the season, like, do you ever turn around and be like, wow, that was a lot of fun. We had
Yeah,
fun.
like, I
this
love
year.
this team.
What a great team this
Great
was.
group. It's a hard question.
I can't tell you a specific team. I will tell you that like even just last year, even though again we didn't have a winning season, but the kids had a great experience. So to me, that's a winning season. Like that's
Right.
my best.
Yeah, it's about the student athlete experience.
Correct. I'm not helping this, am I? I'm not
No,
quick
that
on
was-
these.
no, you're fine.
I think
that's good.
I think we're gonna change the segment name.
Okay.
I don't like rapid fire. I like how we're getting to know
It
you.
was
Food
your
for thought.
segment name. You came up with it.
Right. Well,
Maybe we'll come up with
sometimes
the
you
name
gotta
of it in
change.
this one. We came up with the name of the podcast yesterday in the last 5 seconds of
Right.
the interview.
Okay.
Right.
What's one thing that you haven't done that you have on your bucket list?
Go to Ireland.
I need to go there too.
Go to Ireland and go
beautiful.
and go cross country
Well, out
in
west.
the RV. Yes.
I want to do that. The RV out west. That's something I've always wanted.
That
to
is
do.
Go
awesome.
cross country. Yep.
If you could be one animal, what would you
Ooh.
be?
A bird.
Okay.
A hawk, a bird,
all
something
right.
you can go anywhere you want.
Just fly
anytime you
away,
want,
right?
Just fly. Just go.
That's a great answer.
It is a great answer.
This is kind of piggybacking
Better
off.
than a road runner.
This
That's
is
what our
piggy.
first guess
Because
said.
you
He wanted
can
to
get
be-
off the ground. So
Right.
you don't have to be just
Right.
stay
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Go anywhere you want.
Any particular bird or?
Like a falcon, probably, because you
Oh.
can go fast. You're strong.
It's a great answer.
You know, not a chickadee, because you might hit a window in a car.
Right.
Okay.
So this is kind of piggybacking off what we just talked about. What's your favorite outdoor activity?
Nowadays, probably walking. Seriously.
I love walking.
Yes, we or just even going like on a boat, like kayaking or that sort of thing. But
Cool.
can't do that all the time.
4 people, could be anyone, past or present, that you would like to have dinner with. Sit down and it could be anybody. Anybody
That's a great
that
question.
are alive, anybody.
That's good. That's got to be a staple
It's a tough
question.
one.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know that I have.
Could be anybody. Could be your family. Could be George Washington.
I might have to get back to you on that one.
That's fine. I'll follow
This
up.
is not a rapid,
I'll follow
this is
up.
not a rapid fire one.
Callie, you know I'll follow up.
That was a tough question, actually.
I think everybody I come into contact with and actually sit with, I enjoy. You know, I don't have a specific. I have to have this person.
Oh, that's a cop-out question. That's
This is me. This
that's
is me.
a weak response.
I can't. I don't have. I've never had in my head. I have to have or sit with this person, or you'd like to talk to somebody, but I guess I have to come back to you on that.
All right. I'll follow up.
I am going to cop out right now because I don't know.
If you could only have one food for the rest of your life, every meal, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, really?
Or just something
That's a
you
great
like.
question. That's a good question.
Could be like, anything.
Tacos.
I know. I was just
Tacos,
going to say
pizza,
pasta because you can
or
put
a genre
anything,
of food.
You can put anything in it.
Okay.
Pasta?
Because you can add anything
I
you
like
want
it.
to it.
That's a
Variety.
good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And that ends the rapid fire getting
Those
to know
are
you
tough,
segment.
JT, those are good.
I think the 4 people
Yeah.
question, like when we talked about that today, about asking it seems like an easy question, but now that,
Yeah, you really have. It could be anybody.
and you can't give a rapid answer for
Who's
that.
your 4?
I think I'll have to get back to you too. I mean, that's a tough one.
It is not easy. There's so many great
I actually
people.
can answer right now.
Okay.
Go ahead, fire away.
Mom, dad, wife, sister.
All family members. Nobody. Okay. I mean, that's great. I don't have any issue with that.
Yep. That's
I
my
think
that's my
fantastic.
answer.
What about you, Ken? Give me your
Gotcha.
4.
I thought you meant like we had to go.
No,
we
it
had
could be
to find-
anybody.
Oh, anybody. Oh.
What do you got, Ken?
Okay.
My 4. My father, my daughter,
Okay.
dead, living or deceased. You said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My father, my daughter, Chris Farley.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Last one's tough. Number 4 is tough. No, I gotta pass on 4. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I can't think of
Dinner for 3.
think of 4.
Dinner reservation for 3 for Ken.
3. That's fine. Now, do you have
I gotta come up
4
with,
now?
I gotta
after-
come up with a 4.
Well, no,
now.
I mean, I enjoy every night sitting down,
Right.
like listening to the kids. We talk,
Right.
and my husband, and there's the 4 of us,
Right.
and then, but I mean, that conversation I would never compromise or give up. Like that's a given.
See, I
Like,
guess
having those interactions.
I guess I looked at that question from a different standpoint. Like
Yeah.
I can always sit with
Right. So
granted,
that's-
I can always sit with my family. Like I would look at it as like
Who
for
you
me,
can.
like my grandfather who's passed away, so I can't see him again. But
Right.
like I'd love to sit down with LeBron James, my favorite NBA player ever. Like that would be an awesome to be able to pick the brain of somebody like Justin Timberlake, as we talked about earlier today. I'd love to sit with that guy.
Wow.
Just for context, earlier we were saying that Chris is
okay.
the Timberlake of this group.
Yeah, if
Who will eventually branch out on his own. He's
Whoa, whoa,
actually
whoa.
the
I'm
star.
JT over here.
yeah, but I'm the talent of the
Yes,
show. We've already
you are.
established that.
Who's your
I
4?
believe the phrase "straw that stirs the drink" was thrown out.
Yeah, we did throw that around, but
And what's your 4th?
what I say, LeBron James, Justin Timberlake, my grandfather. That would be actually this would be a weird conversation with all these different people. But my 4th would have to be. That's a great. I don't know. I don't know. What my 4th would be. I
Not
guess
easy.
I really don't
It's
know.
hard.
on the floor.
The 4th one would be tough, but it'd be. I don't know. I don't
gotta
know
all
my
get back.
I don't know.
Yeah.
My 4th would
We got to
be.
follow up.
Yeah.
We'll think about it.
Okay.
So what do you think of the name of the
Yeah,
podcast?
nothing.
By the way, Owl or Nothing. Do you enjoy that? Do you think it's a great name? A good name?
It is a good name.
I think that was-
I know Jay's got that on his. He's got
So-
his little thing on his desk.
So I'm going to tell you a quick story about the podcast. I know we're trying to get out of here quickly, but I'm gonna tell you a quick story. So a couple years back, I believe Mike Donnelly, the former men's basketball coach here.
Well, this is the origin of Owl or Nothing.
Yeah, this is how it came
Yes.
about. He was on vacation and he found the sign, and I could be wrong with who gave him the actual sign that's in his office, but he came in, he put the sign on his desk. So I went into his office one day to have a conversation. I saw it. I said, "This is a great slogan." I said, "Everyone is going to fall head over heels for this slogan. I'm going to put it on a bunch of T-shirts. In fact, we're going to make this slogan the men's basketball shooting shirt," because the whole mic that came from him. So I was really proud of myself. I thought it was going to be great. And I made all these shirts and I handed them out, and nobody wore them. The kids hated it. Not one kid, except for Jack McCarthy. Jack McCarthy. He was the one guy who
Number 50.
He was behind it. Like he loved the slogan. I think it's a great slogan, personally. I really do.
It
It
made
fits.
sense. Like we said, we were sitting here and we were trying to come up with it actually on the air yesterday, and Jay said, "Hey, when you're dealing with the pandemic and coronavirus, it's Owl or Nothing."
Yeah.
That was it. That's
there
what
it
we
is.
So, but we appreciate you coming on today. We know you're, like I said, you're
thanks so much.
very
Cal.
busy schedule for you to take a half hour out of your day to come do this and have Cubby ask you rapid fire questions and all that kind of stuff. And
It was fun.
we appreciate it. We really do.
Thanks,
It
Cal.
was good. Well done. Thank you very much for having me.
We appreciate it. So, and we look forward to. I don't even know who our next guest is going to be.
You're gonna have to listen and see.
Yeah, it's
We're
gonna.
going to do every Tuesday and Friday.
Yep, every Tuesday.
We tape it on Monday and Thursday, and Aaron on Tuesday and Friday. And we're just going to try to get as many different people from as many different areas as we can in SCSU athletics, and have a lot of fun.
We said we can. I mean, we have the capability of having people call in if need be, if it's somebody who's at a distance. So that'd be awesome too, to get some.
I think it's going to be great for that aspect to tap into our alumni base as well.
Right,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I got a few for you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Let's do it.
If anybody has any ideas, they can just email Ken, or you can call him on his cell phone. I'll get you his number.
It's out there. Enough people have it. Or also, remember to follow Owl or Nothing on Instagram, SCSU Owls on Instagram, and follow scsuowls.com/podcasts on the official website of Southern Connecticut Athletics.
Awesome.
Owler Nation, remember, it's Owl or Nothing.
It's
It's Owl or Nothing.
Owl or Nothing, right?
That just scared me. Not much able to hear. Thanks.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Owl or Nothing.